Voters in Kalou go to the polls on Thursday morning. Today is the final day of official campaigns, and we have been seeing what's happening there. There's been, some violence. In fact, even over the weekend, there was violence meted out on some DCP supporters clashing with some UDA supporters. We saw earlier again some violence. People in a hotel attacked. There were said to be DCP leaders who were meeting in that hotel. They were attacked by goons. We saw some violence in Nyahururu, which is not in Kalou, but it's not far, happening yesterday to the Linda Mwananchi group. And then on the other side, it is been termed as a harvest time. Yes, it is masaa ya kuvuna in Kalou because goodies have been flowing left, right, and center, from boats to gas to mattress, as in you're sorted. And you're going and you're coming. That's the verse in the Bible. You are blessed and you're going out and you're coming in.
Living true to scripture.
Like, really. Deputy Government Spokesman Gabriel Muthama is here. We are going to discuss this. Gabriel, good morning.
Good morning, Eric. How are you doing?
Very well. Asante Sana for joining us. Felari is going to give you the day's quote.
The day's quote.
Yes. Today's quote is courtesy of a Nigerian novelist, Ben Okri. And it reads, "Responsibility is active. It's vigilant. Actions become character and character becomes destiny. The moment you see something is wrong, you have a responsibility."
Indeed.
How does that speak to you?
How? You see, one man, do I say he was wise? But I think he was a clever man, and he said the first thing that must speak to all men, and I think in there, he also added women in a way, is the responsibility or actions that demand responsibility, leadership that demands responsibility. When you've come to knowledge of something, or knowledge about something, you must develop a responsibility to fix it. So I think that's what speaks to us this morning. When we come into contact with a certain level of new knowledge, whether new or old, we must develop the responsibility to fix it. And I guess that's why we are fixing the nation this morning.
I'm happy that sets the foundation, because there's a responsibility that will be holding you to account when it comes to responsibility of resources that have been entrusted to those that sit in government.
Right.
There's the responsibility to the citizens. There's also the responsibility to uphold the rule of law, whether it's to those that sit in power and the happenings in Kalou. A good place to start would be, of course, the bribery allegations, as we thread into what the electoral laws say. Is it bribery? Is it development? The goodies are many. Is it just Kalou's turn to eat? Wamefikiwa. This it just so happened to be. It's their time. The timing. You're like, guys, Mungu ni nani? Just when there's a by-election, boom, it's your turn. What is going on?
Well, I know. That's actually a very good tagline to start. Is it bribery? Is it development? The other day I was asking myself, we were talking about was it Idoke in Kitui, and how for many years that place had been neglected. Today they have a stadium. Today they have a very good airstrip. And I was asking myself, wamefikiwa? Is there a by-election? Is that bribery? One thing we have to realize, by the way, Eric, this morning is that
kulikuwa na madaraka day.
Hata kama kulikuwa na madaraka, there are so many other places that have been, that we've seen development. Look at a place like Idanga. What's coming up? New markets, housing projects. Is there by election? Wamefikiwa? No. If you are to look at a place like Kalou, that's a place that has lagged behind. Heavily lagged behind. Since independence, it's a place where, this is the first time they are getting a university, and the late MP, he pushed that thing back and back to even have, an academic institution that the people of Kalou will be grateful for. And at one point, I remember he explained how such an institution would actually benefit the economy of Kalou, where, students, they spend kidogo money. But if you look, if a student is spending 100 shillings a day, and you have about 20,000 students. Imagine the kind of economy that would boost all Kalou. Yes, there's a good tagline. You can say, oh, wamefikiwa, ama this is the time pesa is going around, parties putting in some cash. Last push, we've seen it, whether you want to pick some of the by-elections that we have seen happening in this country. Always it comes with some element of cash here and there. But I think if we are to be honest, Ol Kalou is one place that has lagged behind. And I'm glad to see some of the things that I'm seeing happening in Ol Kalou. The roads, by the way, it's a food basket. If the promise of roads that we are seeing, and we know that they'll be achieved, kudos to the people of Ol Kalou. If we are looking at like the boats my friend is talking about, kudos to them. I know you'll talk about mattresses and gas. What I would be pushing is it's putting the people of Ol Kalou, it's putting them in an area where they can be grateful for. Pia wasembe maendeleo pia imetufikia.
In the last 3 months tumetumia pesa ngapi?
Hiyo sijui.
You must have a figure. Moses Kuria anasema ni 10 billion. Is it 10 billion?
How do you compute that? How do you compute
you
that?
Can't.
No.
You
I think
20,000 gas cylinders.
No.
How many godoros, and then you come up with a number.
You'll forgive me for the office I occupy. I go with facts. I can go out and throw numbers, but are they factual? No, they are not. So there's no way I can compute figures of 10 billion. I had somebody yesterday talking about such figures. And just a simple arithmetic, you realize somebody getting 5,000, on Wednesday will go out and vote, and he's saying there's 200 million that has been issued. I mean, it's not even nothing. It's not even nothing, because you're talking some crazy amounts.
Okay.
Let me ask
so
you.
two things. How much is the campaign spending?
Yes.
Again,
That one they can compute. I mean, they know how much they're spending. Who? The campaign, the UDA campaign. How much is the UDA campaign spending? That one they can. And they actually are answerable to the IEBC for that.
right?
Okay. So how much is the budget?
I honestly do not know how much the UDA has spent.
Okay.
That one, for sure, I do not know.
Because you will tell me
But
you're not a member of UDA.
I am a member of UDA. Yeah. I am a
And
member
you've
of
been on the
UDA.
ground.
I have been on the ground.
You're
I'm a member
interacting
of
with UDA leadership.
Mine, I'm talking to the people that I need to talk to. Yeah.
Who are those?
What those people?
They may be people within the UDA, but not the people who are holding cash. I've not talked about, to be honest with you, Eric, I've not talked about anything to do with financing or monies.
All right. So that is the UDA campaign spending money. So you can tell us you don't know how much, whether they're giving 100 or 500, how much in total they're spending. Let's come to the government. All right. These government projects,
Yes.
how much are they? They're in the budget.
Yeah.
It's time that the people of Ol Kalou also enjoyed their government. So how much is this, and how much?
Like what exactly? The roads,
All those things you've said. You've told us about roads. You've told us about our university.
There's the railway.
The railway, the refurbishment of the railway.
There's the
boats,
tamaking,
title deeds.
electricity
Oh, by the way,
expansion.
actually,
So look
Eric,
at all those things.
Eric.
Gabriel Muthama,
Yeah.
Gabriel's government spokesperson, tell us the government in its financial year 2026-2027
Right.
has set aside in the Appropriations Act X amount of money for development in Ol Kalou. So far, X is being spent on the ground.
Yeah.
again, numbers and figures, I have to sit down and look.
Are not your
at
strong point.
Exactly. It's not about being my strong point. I have to look at exactly where those monies are going to be spent. What I can tell you for sure is, when you talk about something like railways, this is not something that was just decided the other day. It's something that has been on the pipeline, or in the pipeline, so to speak. If we talk about the university, it's not just the other day. You heard the president when he went for the burial of the late MP, saying that the MP constantly kept pushing, not him alone, but the previous administrations. All right? This is the time that is happening. You've heard about the roads. Kura, Hera, they have all that, all those numbers, again, in figures. Pushing. This is something that he has fervently pushed for. And that's why when I want to talk about Ol Kalou, I want to talk about it wholly. The mere fact that, yes, they've had 3 presidents from the mountain, so to speak, and I wouldn't want to bring it down to that particular level of discussing the people who are holding those offices, but it appears like there was a deliberate attempt to just forget this place. I am happy that for the first time, we have somebody who has shown concern on that part of Kalou. And I don't believe it's just because of by-elections. No, I asked you so many other places that I have seen. Markets come up, construction coming up. Railways, like now, heading all the way to the Malala, the SGR. Are we going to turn that to say it's because it's a by-election happening in each and every locale? I don't think so. There is something significant about the development under the UDA agenda, And I think I would want us to really shine the light there, even though we are discussing Kalou.
That's what I was. That's why we are asking for the numbers and the budget and the plans for accountability purposes. Thursday will come and go.
Right. Exactly.
And after Thursday,
yes,
there will still be a follow-up.
Yes.
Are we going to see transformers being picked up? Are we going to see contractors living site on the roads projects at the university? Are we going to see these boats?
Yeah, Eric, you sound like a funny uncle of mine,
and that's why I'm asking that for you to explain this, you go to the Appropriations Act and you say there is a vote for this university.
Yes.
This is how much has been allocated. This shall go on despite the election. There is a vote for X road, which is hereditary. The Kenya Roads Board has worked with the Kenya Rural Roads Authority, and the contractor is on the ground, and the money is being paid. Like that.
Easy.
We'll move away from all that. But if the government does not know why it's doing what it's doing.
Foremost, I think you can't say the government doesn't know what it's doing.
Yes,
and you're also saying, you're also saying, Eric, that the transformers will go once the by-election, is done. You're also saying, which other
contractors will leave.
Then that's why I'm saying, you're sounding like a funny uncle of mine who said, mukienda kwa hiyo barabara, matingatinga imepakiwa hapo. Lakini what he was trying to tell Kenyans is, hiyo ni masinema.
Yes.
As you get towards Nakuru, you
have a very wise uncle.
Yes.
He has
No. It's not about experience.
He knows exactly what
he has seen it many times.
So now, today go to the Rironi Summit Road.
No, wait
a minute. I'm just giving you an example because what you're trying to tell me, Eric, what you're saying, Eric, what you're saying is you're talking about roads not being accomplished. You're talking about, yes, but I'm just giving you an example. Is that road not happening? It is happening. Has a contractor left site? No, he hasn't. So tell me, why are you insisting that just because there's a by-election,
Gabriel,
after the by-election, Eric, after the by-election, Eric, he's a funny guy.
Uncle Funny Guy. He's a very wise man.
He's not wise. In any information, he's not wise. Because everything that he says, by the way, does not happen. So what I'm trying to tell you, Eric, everything that has been earmarked to be done in Kalou will be accomplished.
So it will be accomplished. Gabriel, where we want to sit with this development story on Kalou, if we are going to get away from the politics of it, it was planned for. There was a budget allocation for all the developments that we're seeing and all the goodies that are being dished out in Kalou. Help us substantiate where these are. Because then we can say it's not voter bribery. These are things that actually were in government plans. And it just so happens that in the last 3 months, this was the rollout phase. And coincidence, voila, here we are. That is what we want to discuss. Otherwise, if we do not substantiate it and start showing, you as the government spokesman, you have information that could help take away from the politicization of it. Unfortunately, you leave us with no option.
No, it's not about like the university. Let's talk about the university because that's something that the president has talked about. Do you think that was just a by-election gimmick? The upgrading of the stadium, in Kalou. Let's even talk about the mattresses and the gas cylinders that I know Eric would like to talk about. These are not just being given to somebody who is supporting government, by the way. The upgrading of the stadium is not for people supporting government. That train now going all the way to Pembroke and Gilgil, and it will not ferry UDA supporters. The university, you will not be required to say whether you are supporting UDA or any other party. All right? Why can we not look at services going to Kenyans? And that's why I started by asking you. We talked about Idhokwe, the stadium that was left there. That was not a campaign gimmick. Any person, any Kenyan.
On Idhokwe, Victoria Kasioka says, I come from Kitui. Idhokwe is a grazing field.
Nice.
So
it goes back to the campaign or whatever Madaraka Day ends, and Kenya Power wananua.
Let me tell you, and the people coming from Kitui, listen, ninyenye mutafanya, you are the ones to make that stadium a grazing field. Local leaders plan events in that stadium. If you go today to a stadium like Wanguru, activity is going on. So again, if you get, or if you're given an infrastructure such like that, my friend, kwa ground, local area leaders take over. But
let's talk the
thinking.
cylinders, the cylinders and godoros. Wacha tukayapo kidogo. Where do they fall in our national budget, in our infrastructure, and why now? Like, under what line item?
That's what we call upgrading. That's what domestic upgrading. What I can tell you, they are political. It comes with the political gimmickry. Yeah, the party, obviously all parties, and aspirants, they spend their money. They come to friends. Wanakuuliza, by the way, this is what my people want currently. We've seen aspirants giving out blankets. We've seen some giving godoros. It's not the first time. We've seen some giving sewing machines. This one happens. As long as it's within the law, it's something that is allowed. And I have a few text messages. That one I can tell you, though, of contradiction. Some people are looking for resources. By the way, Mr. Muthama, by the way, nitumie ka 10K, nitumie 15K, ama nitumie 20K. Hii leo tunaweza afford. I'm running, or there's like a by-election somewhere. Can you assist? So, again, I don't think it's anything.
My question has not been answered.
I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary. This one, this happens. This happens. These are the political. In the political space, there'll always be people using.
What program is this? If it's a university, you're saying, universities don't just pop out of thin air. They come through a system. You're right, and that makes sense. Same to a road. A road is not just constructed because someone woke up and decided wacha tujenge barabara. It goes through a system. Ata magodoro na hizi gas cylinders. The budget came from somewhere. What I'm asking,
and that's what I'm saying. You see a budget like
where the budget came from.
The budget, I've just told you. Aspirants, they have their own ways of raising money. The party itself can also pitch in. And at this particular point, I can tell you, the party is also doing their part.
Is the party using state resources to campaign?
No.
And
the party always, the party has resources. You all know,
but you don't know how much. You don't know how much is coming from the party, how much is coming from government.
That's for the party. That is for the party.
You don't know.
That's for the party. That's for the party to tell you.
You don't know about the party. You don't know about the government.
You're a member of UDA, you're a spokesperson.
Listen, the government pesa yake itumiki vile unafikiria. Because I do not know the figure. I don't know the figure.
Wewe ni mwanachama wa UDA.
Until they tell me as Gabriel, we have spent 10 million, I can give you those facts. All right? But as of now, I've not asked. But I know, just like any other party, they raise resources. MPs and the senators and the governor, they usually give money to the party. There's some money that also comes from the political, parties, what do you call it?
Fund.
Yes. So, and politics, when you talk about elections, they are weighty matters. They require financing, they require resources. So unless they are out of the parentheses of what the law requires, then probably that's something we can discuss. But anything else, I think it's normal, very normal.
We'll come back with Gabriel Muthama, who's the deputy government spokesperson, as we continue threading on these allegations of voter bribery in Kalou with the elections coming up on Thursday. This is Fixing the Nation, one conversation at a time.
Let's get back into conversation, actually, with the deputy government spokesperson, Gabriel Muthama. And we're trying to figure out what is happening as far as our laws are concerned, what's considered electoral malpractice. This dishing out of goodies is being referenced quite a lot. And we're trying to ascertain the source of the funding for a lot of these goodies, where they come from. And I see a question from Fixers and some comments from Solomon Wanyoike, for example, saying they're distributing gas cylinders, but he isn't exactly firing on all cylinders when it comes to being accountable. Devori says, can you read the quote of the day again? This time, ask him if it actually applies to him, because from here, it doesn't really look like it. Steve Okech, I thought as a party, you guys deliberate on where and how to spend your resources. For a man in his position, that's information he should have. What's the budget? More or less the same questions. And maybe Phalaris will read the quote of the day for you again. But there is an article covered by the Daily Nation a few days ago about the donations, and we covered this on air. And 20,000 LPG cylinders, mattresses, food supplies, water pipes, and 2 boats valued at 5 million shillings for Gwakiongo Dam in Mirangine were donated by the Blue Economy and Fisheries PS Betsy Muthoni. Is Betsy a member of UDA?
I don't know, but I probably suppose she is. I don't know.
Again, where does this budget come from? The boats alone.
But this is government. She's a PS for fisheries and all.
Yeah, that's government. It's like asking.
And that's...
Eric is like, but I was like asking, where will the funding for the university come from? I think if you had, I think it was Alice Wahome who was talking about it, about the student hall. She was talking about the staff quarters and the whole shebang. The budget that they had earmarked, and that one you can get because this is a minister talking. This is a cabinet secretary talking, where she was talking about the 1.3 billion. If you go to Kera, the budget they've earmarked, as you saw, again, this is something you know because they've talked about it. Nearly 20 billion on the roads project. All right, it's there. But when you're talking about LPG, I mean, not when you're talking about how much the candidate will spend, you know, I mean, this is an individual raising money to spend. And that's why no party, I've not had any party saying that we have spent this much, you know. It's actually a very dicey question. You know, people raise money and they spend as they are raising money. Huyu anaenda nanunua blanketi, huyu anafanya hivi, huyu anafanya hivi. I mean, as long as, and that's why I keep repeating, as long as it's within the confines of the law, I don't find anything wrong with it.
I think the bigger issue here is drawing the line between government projects, earmarked government projects, versus party campaign machinery. Okay, that's why we are very much insistent on: is it on the plan? Is it budgeted for? Is it in the signed Appropriations Act that there's certain money? This is a university that's being constructed fair.
Yes.
Completely fair. And this is the amount of money that had been allocated for it.
Yes.
And it's happening within time.
Yes.
This was a timeline. It is happening within time.
Yes.
Devoid of the by-election.
Correct.
There has been a push and a campaign by the residents of this area because this is a dam, a huge dam that they use, and they'd like to cross. They have fishing activities, whatever activities they have, they need these boats. And the Ministry of Fisheries has received this petition and request last year but one. And they said, we are going to put it into a program. And it so happens that the program says, it shall be in the 2026-27 financial year.
Correct.
Here we are.
Yes.
Procurement started earlier. Here we are. They're being delivered. You see, if you are giving us those answers, would then say these government projects are set to continue. And even the people of Kalou will be knowing this is a project that was already in the plan and it shall continue. Even after, we shall demand accountability for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Then we talk about the gases. Now, is gas a government project to say, we are removing fossil fuel, biomass from our homes because it causes, respiratory illnesses and all? Because that's true.
Right.
There's respiratory issues coming from using charcoal and firewood.
Right.
And there's a nationwide government program to gasify our homes.
Yes.
And the first phase, the pilot, was going to be all Kalou. Oh, there's a by-election. What a coincidence. It just so happens that the government program started with a pilot of X number of homesteads and households getting gas. Hii gas si ya serikali, ni ya nani?
So, Eric, away from the gas.
Can we tell who is giving what
From the gas.
between UDA and the government?
Allow me to talk about the university, because that is money that I know is earmarked. That I know for sure.
How much?
The cabinet secretary talked about it. The first phase was going to cost 1.3 billion. Now, the issue of the university, and that's why I'm keen about the issue of the university, is that this is something that the late minister pushed in successive administrations fervently. It never came. All right? Until the president promised him, this we will do. Same way, the president talked about the housing project in Makuyu. There's a KMTC coming, the upgrade of the teachers' college. There is no by-election in Makuyu. All right? But now, these areas, they've gotten that budget, as the president promised. So I do not want us to tie everything happening in All Kalou with the by-election, because there are so many other places development is happening and there's no by-election. For instance, I've just told you about the roads. Yeah? This is an area, for crying out loud, gentlemen and ladies, that I feel has lagged, has been left behind for yonky years.
Two things could be true at the same time, right? And I don't think we're being entirely honest. And we'll keep spinning tails here, but never arriving at the answer. But I think it's, again, the answer in this case and how I read it is that we are not ready to have that conversation.
No, I think we are ready to have that conversation.
Let me finish my point. I don't think we're ready to have the conversation where the state is using funds and using development, the agenda that, of course, and the benefits of this development agenda to the people of All Kalou and the timing of it. It's not a string we can unwind at this point, but I want to shift gears just a little bit to IEBC and the push from the opposition and the other candidates in terms of investigating what this is shaping out to be.
Correct.
We're not here just saying it's voter bribery because it's a Monday morning and that's the word of the day.
Right.
No. Right. It is because it is an active matter that is being investigated by the IEBC. Right. Do you think it's well within their mandate?
Definitely.
To investigate, and should UDA be found guilty of voter bribery, that this either their candidate is actually then removed from the ballot?
Definitely. IEBC bylaw is allowed to do what they're doing. Bylaw, and that's why I keep insisting bylaw. Everything done within the parentheses of the law, and we can't fail to answer the last question that you've talked about. Because sometimes I feel we are also doing a major disservice by saying everything happening, and whether or not we are ready for this conversation. We cannot say. Let me frame it differently. Would you be ready to answer a question if I was to ask, did the development find a by-election, or did a by-election find a development?
The chicken and the egg. What came first?
Yeah, correct. So your answer, or what somebody purports that no, this is the work of government just because there's a by-election is nullified by that mere fact. There's development going on everywhere. I've just given you an example of Makuyu. All the things happening in Makuyu right now. Is there a by-election in Makuyu? Hakuna. But IEBC, like we are all agreeing. The other day, they gave the Nyandara women rep a fine of 1.5 million. Why? Utterances that we have seen are now leading the kind of commotion that we are seeing. When you stand in front of people and you say that our youth are not going to accept any person coming in, or we are going to stand guard. Same thing, the funny uncle of Eric has also been uttering those funny things. Actually listened to him yesterday on radio, and I was really shocked at some of the utterances that he was talking about. And I believe if IEBC is going to investigate, then that is their duty, that's their mandate as per the law. And if it's just like the issue of goons we are talking about, and if any person, regardless of which party we are talking of, is found culpable, then let the law follow its course.
You know, there's the letter and the spirit of the law. And then there's sometimes when people just try to hang somewhere in the middle, you know, just straddle the line.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Elections Offences Act, actually.
Yeah.
Yes. Participation in elections by public officers. Let me start from there. And I'll show you why exactly I think you're just straddling the line. A public officer who engages in the activities of any political party or candidate, or acts as an agent of a political party or a candidate in an election, has committed an offense. If they publicly indicate support for opposition against any party, side, or candidate participating in an election, they have committed an offense. If they engage in political campaigns or other political activity, they have committed an offense.
That's a public servant. Is that what
Officer,
you're saying?
yes.
Public,
Public officer.
yes. If they use public resources to initiate new development projects in any constituency or county for the purposes of supporting a candidate or political party in that constituency or county, they have committed an offense and are liable to conviction and a fine not exceeding 1 million shillings or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years, or both.
That's actually a very good question. It's a very good question. In this case, you are pointing at who? PSS and CSS?
And Gabriel Muthama.
Okay. Number one, let me talk about Gabriel Muthama. I'm an appointee of the president. And probably where I would take you is a case, the leading authority, the Raila Amolo Odinga, the late, versus IEBC and two others, presidential petition of 2017, where the Supreme Court observed, hope you have this judgment, cabinet secretaries are political appointees who serve at the pleasure of the president. They are exempt from the prohibition against political activity that applies to most public officers. This exemption is reflected in Section 23 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, which excludes cabinet secretaries and county executive committee members from restrictions imposed on other appointed officers. Now,
Yes, that's for cabinet secretaries.
The thing is, there are certain public officers who are appointees of the president. You are asking Gabriel Muthama. Apart from being a member of UDA, I'm a presidential appointee. Apart from that, the government is implementing a manifesto called a UDA manifesto, which we all fall under. All right?
Let's go
and
back
that's why
you've quoted that exemption in the law that exempts cabinet secretaries and county executive.
And also other.
It doesn't have other.
I'm just saying.
read it again.
It doesn't have other.
Just read it again.
Muthama, it doesn't have other.
Cabinet secretaries are also political appointees. PSs.
It
Are
says
political appointees.
It
What
does
are
not-
they?
it does not
Gabriel
exist.
Muthama.
That
Gabriel
You see,
Muthama is a
stretching.
presidential
You
appointee.
Remember why I
Yes.
said
Listen,
you're going to use there's the letter, there's the spirit, and then you're going to try it somewhere in the middle
So
there.
What we mean by a political appointee, I'll just educate you here shortly, briefly, quickly. A cabinet secretary, the president has the entire leeway to nominate somebody as a cabinet secretary.
Yes.
As long as they pass the vetting of the National Assembly, they'll become cabinet secretary. The president cannot appoint a principal secretary out of the blues.
Yes.
The Public Service Commission is the one that
Correct.
conducts investigations and recommends for appointment. Just like the Judicial Service Commission does for judges and recommends for appointment. The president a judge is not an appointee of the president.
Okay.
So it's
True.
a principal secretary, not an appointee of the
And that's why
president.
I'm asking Eric, with
Okay.
all due respect.
Now, what Maria has read here is a public officer, including cabinet secretary, will be violating the law if they use their office to campaign directly. If, for example, a cabinet secretary goes and is standing there and everybody is donned in yellow UDA colors, and they say, we have brought votes, so vote for our candidates, that is violation of this. Please read that me again. It's a direct violation.
A public officer who engages in the activities of any political party or candidate or acts as an agent of a political party or candidate in an election has committed an offense and is liable on conviction. If they use public resources to initiate new development projects in any constituency or county for the purpose of supporting a candidate or political party in that constituency or county, they have committed an offense and are liable for conviction.
That is
very good.
Plain
A
English.
candidate or a political party. So when I'm coming as an UDA or to UDA members, I'll tell them, guys, as a cabinet secretary, we are upgrading JM Hospital. For UDA, no. Each and every Kenyan in that locale of
It's for purposes of campaigning for a candidate.
I know. But
Why are you
listen,
twisting English?
I'm not twisting English. The university building on
Hold
Kalou.
on. Please
Oh,
read that.
Eric Latif. No. I've read.
And please tell us. This
I asked
is
you a question,
what
Eric.
section of the law?
Eric,
Before
I asked
you
a
ask the
question.
Section
Let's
15,
all understand the
Part
law.
1 of
Section
the election.
15, 1.
The
government.
A public officer
Who uses public resources
Yes.
to initiate new development projects in any constituency or county for the purpose of supporting a candidate or political party in that constituency or county has committed an offense and is liable on conviction.
for the
Okay.
purpose
So,
of...
do you believe
Yes.
the upgrade of the stadium, the JM Hospital, the university, do you think that's campaigning for UDA, or is it for all members of...
Let me tell you. Let me
That's
answer.
local.
Let me answer directly.
Secondly,
I believe when a PS,
it's a campaign.
when a PS goes with two boats and launches them during a campaign rally for a candidate who is seeking an elective office, that is violation of the law. I believe when a cabinet secretary goes to attend a campaign rally and also there goes and launches a project or initiates a project, for purposes of enticing voters, that is violation of the law. It is English, is very
Plain.
simple.
And that's why I've asked you.
This is
I
not
asked you.
legalese.
I asked you, Eric. You are putting it as if all the CSs going to Kalou are going to campaign for an UDA candidate. That's not it.
Yes, contextualize it. You are coming as a PS to a rally, a political rally for a candidate, and then suddenly you have boats.
All PSs, and I'll come to the boats issue, all PSs, all cabinet secretary, the likes of Akida Gabriel, we have something called the plan, which forms the greatest part of our UDA manifesto. That is what we are implementing. In the beginning, we talked about responsibility. When you go and people of that locale tell you, this is what we need, as a PS or a CS, that is the knowledge that demands responsibility.
And we're not
As
taking
a
away from that,
PS
Gabriel.
or as a cabinet secretary. So I think what we are trying to shoot at here, we are trying to bend over backwards to say, all the PSs you're seeing, all the cabinet secretary, every government official who's going to Kalou, they are doing one thing. They are just campaigning. I think that's wrong. And that's why I gave you a very good example of a place like Makuyu. Just go to Makuyu right now. See what is happening. After the forward housing, go to Mackenzie, go to Ruiru. Are there by-elections happening there? Hakuna by-elections huko. Mukuru, are there by-elections? There are no. There is something you're forgetting about the development agenda of UDA and the plan. It is everywhere, nationwide. From Kotulo and Ramu, or that road that we are talking about, there's no election happening. There's no by-election happening there.
There's an election coming up next year. Listen.
That is the true genius of development.
Gabriel.
Apart from the things that we are talking about, and Eric, it's very good that we discuss about this issue because nimesikia watu wengi sana wakisema even that university is a political gimmick. This is something that, and if you're not going to get anything else, just get that line. The late MP, Kiaraho, this is something he pushed successive administrations. Every other place was getting. We know we've had issues on roads.
And yet
You know?
these things didn't come until after he passed on, and there was a by-election in his constituency.
Yeah.
And then now suddenly we need votes. If he had been pushing for this through subsequent administrations,
And
then when he came into power, and when UDA came into power, when he was serving his third term, I believe, and UDA also happened to now be the government of the day, then that would have been perfect timing to implement all these things he has been pushing for.
it's only unfortunate. It's only unfortunate that he passed before seeing the fruition of this or before its realization. But the president himself had promised him. He said, if there's one thing we are going to do in that place, is that university.
I'd be keen to know what the late Member of Parliament for Emura Dikir, what he had on his wish list, and whether that came posthumously.
Right.
But we have a couple of clips we need to listen to, and then we'll get some quick comments from our guest. Let's take a listen.
We have also had allegations of bribery, and in some outlets, the scale of bribery is massive. We have also been alerted of the presence of state officials in Kalou, which is not a problem as long as they are doing their ordinary duties. But where they are there to interfere, that is also very unfortunate. In the event that working with the security officials and other stakeholders, if we find that the environment is not conducive enough for us to conclude the by-election in Kalou, we will be left with no choice other than to take the most unfortunate and drastic step of postponing the elections in Kalou. And if that's not enough, we will cancel it altogether. These small incidences are a precursor of what is likely to happen in 2027. And we cannot allow that. And what happens, these political actors, they misbehave. Then they go on Twitter and TikTok and make statements blaming IBC. Whereas we have done everything humanly possible to ensure that elections are free, fair, credible, and peaceful.
Just before you even respond, let me
just agree with the IBC.
Can I lay it on a bit thicker?
To make it thicker.
Just let me make it a little bit thicker. An article carried on the Daily Nation.
Please do.
Let me get the correct date of publication. This was, okay, I'll check actually for the 9th, Thursday. Yes. Talks about what's happening in Kalou. And sources were spoken to, referring to what the IEBC was saying. And it says, in DCP's camp, Nyandarua Senator John Methu's Mugumo home has become the party campaign command center. Every morning, interested groups converge there. According to insiders, those in attendance are served breakfast before receiving what organizers describe as a coordination facilitation of between 500 and 1,000 shillings. On the other hand, UDA's mobilization structure is, however, far more elaborate. The ruling party has established multiple campaign teams targeting different voting blocks, with each category receiving varying levels of facilitation. Some mobilization teams are reportedly transported to neighboring towns, including Gilgil, for strategy meetings and coordination sessions, with participants receiving between 1,000 and 2,000 shillings each. Church events are coordinated through the Office of the President, according to a clergy member familiar with the program. He says the facilitation depends on the level of the meeting. County forums, 5,000. Grassroots meetings, 3,000. That excludes payments made to host churches and the senior clergy coordinating mobilization. Mobilizers are reportedly paid between 5 and 10,000 shillings and are taxed with crowd mobilization, security coordination, and gathering political intelligence. Based on 6 meetings daily, each attracting 500 participants, receiving an average of 1,000 shillings, UDA could be spending more than 3 million shillings a day on closed-door meetings alone.
That reads like something you would read from Nation newspaper. Yeah, definitely. It sounds like a line you would get. Anyway, I've not seen.
The IEBC has also said they have received.
No. They have received
multiple.
They have received, and that's why they are investigating
of voter bribery.
We've heard about the same. IEBC is an independent commission, and I think we allow them to do their work. As far as UDA is concerned, one thing I know for sure, they have set their strategics on the ground. Obviously, you'd give it to them. They are well organized, very well organized. They are not following crowds. I had somebody, accusing them that they want to steal an election. That is not true. The people are very well organized, same way they did in Bere. So I don't think I would throw in a lot of mud at them. Everybody is organizing in their own unique way, as long as, and I keep repeating, it is within the confines of the law. IEBC, they need to continue carrying on their investigations. Obviously, we are also concerned. We are also concerned about the violence that we are hearing people talk about, because now it's starting to, we are now seeing it being actualized. For somebody to go out and say, all young people to arm themselves and be ready, to guard. I think that is very unfortunate coming from a leader. And I think the police and IEBC need to take that into caution. Secondly, obvious, we are told, or there's intel, that some people are even planning to abduct themselves. Yeah?
To do what?
To abduct themselves, to just through emotions. We've seen that happen. Yeah, to exaggerate arrests.
On the day of the elections or the run-up to the elections?
On the run-up to the elections. And it's unfortunate.
Who are these people?
There has been a name mentioned, allow me not to mention it, but
Why?
if
Why won't you mention it?
Because now it's not come on the open. I don't have the liberty to say it.
You see, now that is again, you use our platform to come and put these allegations out there. So if we can't get a name, then let's just stay away from it.
Yeah. Let's not talk about
if you see it
someone
happen,
is alleging.
if you see it happen, know that it was said. Yeah. The issue of violence. On this one, I'll give my candidate, my UDA candidate, and we have told him to continue talking against it. And if you count the amount of time that guy has talked about violent and wanting a free and fair election, I've counted nearly 13, 14 times. I would only hope that the rest of the candidates and the rest of the parties can show up to that. The other thing is the rumors that we are peddling around. It is good, sometimes people feel, not it's good, people sometimes feel it is good for them to boo emotions, to do things, to do crazy things that boo emotions. I've had people talking about gunshots. Somebody said their driver was shot. The police have come and negated that. As a matter of fact, they are saying, just bring this person with that bullet wound. Show us that person. That has not sufficed. So again,
The police have negated that?
Yes, they did. They issued a statement yesterday. And it is good. I know it propels emotions, but at the end of the day, let's be careful about some of the utterances and about some of the things that we want to do. It is a by-election. It will come and go. We had one in Bere, which was very emotionally charged. It came and went. And I believe this one also will come and go.
All elections will come with, all of the emotions, and a lot is at stake. And we keep seeing a lot of this misbehavior. And I want to hear your thoughts on what the Nakuru Town East MP was doing. David Gikaria was dishing out cash openly and even talking about, how he has to go get more. People have to give IDs so that they can get, he can verify. And that if we look at the election laws, that is in itself
correct
cause for IEBC to investigate and even disqualify the UDA candidate because this is someone campaigning for a UDA candidate. Daylight bribery. Has the party condemned it?
I'm going to say again, seated here, I am not going to support any electoral malpractice. UDA does not need to support any electoral malpractice.
Okay.
They know the rules. They've stuck to the rules in all by-elections. They've won fair and square. They don't need to do half of the things that people are saying they are doing.
But one
It's
of your party
propaganda.
members is doing that.
If you come to IEBC, they have what it takes and all it takes to investigate. And if they find anybody culpable, let them do as the law prescribed. Period.
Good. Even if it comes at the cost of your candidate being disqualified?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's they have that mandate. If they have that mandate. I told you just the other day, they fined the women rep. No, they fined her 1.5. Why? The utterances. At some point, I think it is good that we are now holding people to account.
Yeah.
Because these are things that we have seen. We've already started seeing the kind of violence you're witnessing around that area. We are dealing with propaganda, and I saw you guys running that tagline, and I think that tagline is not correct. You need to change it. Up until that somebody was shot. We have to produce some of those facts. It's not just enough to say, somebody has. This is what happened. The propaganda is speaking to all of us, but to the media houses, I think we just need to do.
What do we define as then?
That's propaganda. You see, if I say,
if
you talk about, if you are saying somebody shot yesterday, from what I was hearing, somebody was shot fatally.
No.
That's,
I don't think
not you. Somebody
was...
said it, and then they were taken to account. They started sending photos. Yeah. And you'd see somebody say, that's a bullet wound, that's a bullet wound, that's a bullet wound. You're giving room to rumors and propaganda. And the police came out and said, guys, we have investigated. We are investigating. Like the issue in Kisumu, they investigated. 8 people were arrested. That is the work of the law. That's what I wanted to see happen. That's what we all want to see happen. It's just like the issue of goons that we are talking about. Nobody is supporting those goons. Let the police do their work. If these people are, again, the people who are arrested, whether they are members of UDA, whether they are in the opposition. No, let the law take its course. And that's what I'm calling about. I think at some point, all of us has to agree, wacha sheria ifanye kazi.
Lakini sasa sheria ifanye kazi.
Ifanye kazi kwa nini? I've just told you yesterday 8 people were arrested.
Yeah.
And the police came out.
Then,
they gave their statement
Sharia
and
is
said,
not arrest.
So, and let's begin with whether he was shot by
what
a
do you
rubber
mean
bullet
Sharia is not arrest?
or-
Sharia is not arrest. Sharia is
what?
an entire process. Investigate, arrest, prosecute. Right? Present evidence before a competent court.
Yes.
Let that competent
Where
court
our
find
where our power
this person.
Mali power yetu inaisha is where the police arrest. We cannot do anything.
No, there is investigation.
Once they arrest,
Okay.
once they do investigations, once they produce somebody in court,
Whose power ends where?
ya serikali.
Serikali ni nani?
Serikali inafikishaga mtu mahakamani, and then the judicial system takes over.
Na hiyo ni nani?
As a judiciary, we talk about the independence of the 3 arms of government.
Yes, but it is an arm
Yeah.
of
Of
government.
The government.
No,
It is
I'm telling you,
independence.
the government I serve in.
So the executive.
The executive.
The-
The executive. The executive.
The
Good,
DPP
good,
is
good,
also in the executive. Now,
Executive.
and that's what we're saying. People have suffered injuries. People have died. All right? To the best of your recollection, has anybody been held to account for the deaths of people in political rallies?
I know people are in court. And once the judicial process takes effect, there's very little you can do. But to support, and I believe I'll be supporting your quest. Eric, to be honest, I would like to see people serving serious jail terms. I would really love to see.
Okay. Beyond that, your political leadership says that those people who perpetrate that are actually organized and sent by other political actors. Have you seen, to the best of your recollection, any political actor being arrested? Any political leader being arrested and prosecuted, or a file being taken to the DPP for the prosecution over involvement in hiring, arming, and sending people to go and cause violence?
I have not seen, be honest, I have not seen, but that doesn't mean investigations that are currently being conducted should stop. Let those investigations continue. And this is where I'm saying, even if it is somebody within or without government, hapa hatubahatishi. Let the law, again, we've talked about the law so many times. We've talked about
nowadays
constitution.
it's just become one of those things that you
Some
say.
yes suggestion.
It's
Let
not.
the law take its course.
Not.
Let me tell you
It's
something,
not
Gabriel
just
Muthama.
a line.
In this country,
when
as
people
you,
have
were,
been
as you were
arrested,
growing up,
when people have
I'll
been
remind you,
arrested,
as you were growing up, did you ever used to hear, no stone shall be left unturned?
Oh, yeah.
yes,
As you were growing up.
Yes.
Now here you are, you're in government, and you're still saying no stone shall be left unturned.
Yeah.
Aren't you feeling ashamed?
upon me, what I want is we have a very progressive constitution.
As
I
we all
believe the
keep
laws of the
saying.
land.
Will any stone be left unturned?
I believe the laws of the land. I want the police, but I believe the laws of the land should actually be able to protect all of us. So when I hear people that are arrested, that is the right way. Eric, how else would you want us? You want us to get out of the institutions, and then these are institutions me and you agreed should be created.
Yes.
Are they working
to deal
independently?
with this malady.
Yes.
The question we should be asking is, how should we, or what should we do to ensure that these institutions are working to our liking and to our advantage to protect all of us? And this is a constant debate. This is a constant conversation that we are going to have for the longest. Because I am not saying that we will get to a point where everything works. Far from it. But we can make these little progresses. For instance,
We are making none.
Those 8 people that have been arrested. And sometimes I feel, can I say on national TV? I think I can. I sometimes feel this provision of all crimes in Kenya being bailable. At some point, there are a problem with it. You've murdered somebody, you're out on bond, all crimes are bailable. And there's a country we look up to as an epitome of democracy. The United States. But P. Diddy never saw the light of day. There was no bail, I think we need to get a point where we...
Was there no bail because the judge denied him bail, or because the crime he committed was not bailable and there are crimes that are not bailable?
He just knew the guy, if you release this guy... Not all crimes.
That was, you see,
there are certain crimes that are not bailable. Here in Kenya, every crime is bailable. And I
the
think
Constitution
that's
that
why I'm saying, correct, very good.
You are
Thank
innocent
you.
until proven
Thank
guilty.
you. It's that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. But
Yeah.
I'm saying, at some point, we need to sit down and say, is this working for us? Because at
It
the end
is
of the day,
working for us.
We
The
say-
problem is the police are
we
not
say
working
it.
for us.
Yeah.
What do you mean they are not working for us?
Under prosecution.
Eric,
If you do not want,
Eric,
if
avoid.
the police...
Eric, you can't say
There are
that.
people who've been arrested, Gabriel, for your information, and they have not been released on bail or bond.
No,
Why?
Eric.
Because of the nature of crime committed.
Yes.
And because of the conviction presented before court
Yes.
by the prosecutors.
All I'm
For
saying,
example,
Eric, yes.
terrorism suspects.
Correct.
They've been arrested.
Yes.
And they have not been released.
Yes.
They go through the entirety of their case.
Correct.
When they're there. Why? Because the prosecution goes and says,
Yes.
Your Honor, this is a serious crime. This person could do this and the other. They convince the judge.
Yes.
And the judge says, stay in.
But you cannot say.
You can't just go
but
there
but
and
you
say,
see,
because we feel
you
like
see,
Gabriel-
no,
Bail
but
is not
again,
the issue.
again,
70%
the
of
people you've
people
talked
in
about, the
our
terrorists, those
remand
have been
centers.
arrested. They have
So-
been arrested by the police.
Yes.
So again, you can't come on national television and say that the police are not working for us. That's actually a very
Arresting is not
dangerous
the
line.
end and the beginning. He said that earlier. Arresting is not the end and the beginning of
And-
justice. Let me finish. One, so that whole, if you've not gathered enough evidence to ensure that there will be a prosecution of a crime, you have no business arresting someone. It's a waste of our time. It's a waste of the judiciary's resources if you are not going to produce something that will hold up in court. That's one. Two, about 70% of people in prisons, remand centers right now are there because they could not raise bail, not because they have been convicted of anything, not because they have gone through the justice process. So the issue is not bail. It's clearly out of reach for most people who get arrested. The issue is just that the investigating agencies are not doing their work as they should, and that's the police. By the time a case file goes to the prosecutor, it should be sufficient enough to guarantee a prosecution.
No, I think I don't want to call it a dangerous line, but really this thing of pacifying our policemen, it's not also doing us justice. Eric, to me, we have some great men and women in uniform.
Absolutely.
They bend over backwards for us. When we are sleeping at night, they are holding fort. They do some of the craziest thing you would imagine. I've seen them attending to accident victims, and I think this pacification of every time it's the police, no. They have arrested. They have arrested.
That they do amazing work in some instances.
They have arrested.
They don't do their work in others. Those two things
from,
can be true
From my
at the same
position,
time.
from my position, what I would call for is all institutions that are mandated by law for prosecution to work in tandem so that we can produce results at the end of the day.
Let me give you an example.
We support the police as we are doing to do their work, effortlessly.
As they are doing.
Yes, and to the best of their abilities. They produce somebody in court. We expect the justice system
to take its course.
And to do their work to the best of their ability.
You strongly believe
we cannot pacify. And I think it's wrong. We cannot pacify one area by saying how ndio wafanyage kazi yao.
You strongly believe the police force is doing its work, correct?
They are doing
100%.
To me, they are doing a good job.
Let me read.
Can they do better? Definitely.
So we have the CS Interior. We have the CS Interior, Kipchumba Murkomen. We have the Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja, who again and again have been putting out statements, especially CS Murkomen, in just, to this goonism issue, but never cracking the whip. Na hapa tunasema ni domo kaya tu. And this has been ongoing, where we've not seen proper prosecution of people who are either allegedly funding the goons, or even the goons themselves whose faces we can see. We are arresting 8. How many more people were in Kisumu, for example? How many more people were in Kisii? Have they been prosecuted? There's a flaw in the system. So if we are going to stand here and say that we have a progressive constitution, the rule of law is being upheld, question is, how come we've not been able to arrest this issue as it's happening with the people that are running those institutions? Are these institutions actually even independent in the first place?
You say there's a flaw in the system.
There is.
Exactly? That's why I called upon all these institutions that are mandated by law, the judicial officers, the policemen, all the way to the prison wardens, all of them, they must be able to do their job to their very best. That is the only way we can get a conviction. And by the way, let's assume, and this is an example, and something we've seen. I remember there was a time Kenyans really cried out. I think it was the late son of Delamere. You remember that time?
Tom Chomley.
Yeah. The Attorney General then found he had no case to answer. The Attorney General. The courts released him. There was an uproar. All country was an uproar. Hakuna lazima afungwe. Hiyo mahakama hapana ni lazima amfunge. So, the reason why I'm giving you this example is the arresting officer, because police have complained at some point. Remember there was a time police was saying, we are getting these people out of the streets, and in a few days we see them back.
Who's releasing them back to the streets?
The courts. There was a time they were complaining. Here I can't sit and point fingers to a certain institution. What I want is for us to do our very best and get convictions so that these people can be removed from the streets. The issue of goonism, it didn't happen the other day, or it didn't start during our time. We've grown up with these people. We've grown up with vigilante groups. Kaya Bombo, Sijui Mungiki, Sijui Chinkoro. Now these goons who politicians use. And by the way, most of them, I can say here, without fear of contradiction, you will find them in payrolls of politicians. Right? What to do? This is a malady we know if we continue this way, we are actually swimming on very treacherous waters.
Is CS Murkomen doing his job properly?
It needs to be handled with the utmost importance. It needs to be handled in a way ile Waswahili usema ili iwe funzo kwako na wengine wenye tabia kama hiyo. To me, this is what I want to see. Now, there has been this deliberate attempt to emphasize that these goons, wamemployiwa na serikali, au ndio wanachoma. That's mere propaganda. And that's why I'm saying, if it is found out whether these goons support politician XYZ and this politician has a good free win with government, Sharia.
Let me ask you, is CS Murkomen doing his job as he should? Or are we also just ni propaganda tunamrushia tumawe, yet he's doing the best of his ability?
I think he's doing a good job as far as I'm concerned. Can there be improvement? Definitely. Will we ever get to a point, I like using this line a lot, will we ever get to a point where we'll say now we have somebody here who is doing exceptionally, well, there's always room for improvement. Are there things me and you would like to see happening differently? Definitely.
Like, what would you like to see?
For instance, this issue of guns. No. This one we have to deal with it. We have to deal with it decisively. The president has talked about it. The deputy president has talked about it. Even C.S. Murkomen himself has talked about it. And Eric, like I'm saying, this is not something that we've woken up to just the other day.
So when he's not dealing with it to your satisfaction, is he doing his job properly?
Yes.
But not to your satisfaction?
No, he's doing his job. He's doing his job. He's executing his duties. But is there room for improvement?
Not to your satisfaction.
Definitely, is there room for improvement? It's not about satisfaction. No, it's just like you, what you're doing. You're doing your job to the best of your abilities. Can there be improvement? Of course, that's why you're getting a new studio.
Is it to your satisfaction?
To me, yes. As far as I'm concerned, you're doing your job well. But is there need for improvement? Yes.
Not me.
Yeah.
Is the cabinet secretary doing his job to your satisfaction
Yes.
as a citizen?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So the president and everybody has said we need to deal decisively with this issue of Gunism. Is it being dealt with decisively, in your opinion?
At the moment, the way they are going about it, and the strategies I'm seeing them employ, yes. But allow me to say one thing, Eric, so that we don't lose it.
No.
We're still in the issue of guns.
No.
We are still in the issue of guns.
Answer the question. Don't go to another question.
No, it's not. I'm just emphasizing the point on guns.
So what is happening now is not yet to your satisfaction.
With the issue of guns?
Of guns.
No, the new strategies that they're employing, yes, I'm liking the new strategies I'm hearing. Because we need to get these people out of our political machinery as a matter of supreme urgency.
What new strategies are these?
For instance, there's obviously, and you need to invite him to tell you the intel, the way they are collecting their new intel now.
There is no shortage of
There's a new
advice to
strategy.
CS Murkomen.
So there's a new strategy of intelligence.
No. Again, now if we do this,
there's a new strategy of intelligence gathering. Secondly,
that's a very good strategy, by the way.
I don't know what it is, but what's
number two? They are continuing evangelizing this thing of guns now through the Ngao, again, which I find to be quite elaborate. The youth groups, this is something I was not seeing in the past. All leaders also are going to be held into account. All of them.
Is it bearing fruit?
It will bear fruit. It has to.
When?
I don't know when, but it has to bear fruit.
How long do you give it? As a citizen?
As a citizen, I give it the urgency of the moment. The earliest time possible.
So how long do you give Kipchumba before you say he's not performing to my satisfaction?
I mean, he has hopefully, I'm not the one who is in charge of his tenure office.
How long does citizen Muthama give the cabinet secretary before you feel, I'm not happy with how this man is handling this docket?
You know, the thing is, and again, it would be wrong to say it is the cabinet secretary alone. This is not an issue. Eric,
2 months?
This is not an issue of the
months?
cabinet secretary alone.
We are dealing with the cabinet secretary. 2 months?
This is not. He has to be able to group all the people he's working with. I told you I'm giving it the urgency of the moment now.
So urgency is now.
Yes, we need to deal with it, and that's why I am liking to see some of the things that they are suggesting.
So if by the end of say this month, no change.
Yeah, we will discuss it when we get there.
You'll be unhappy with the work of the cabinet secretary.
I will not. I don't want to say I'll be unhappy. I want to see all the things that are being proposed. I want to see them bearing fruit, and I know they will. It's an area, and what I wanted to say actually, Eric, is this. I mentioned it the other day somewhere. We will not outgrow our problems as a country, whether now or in the future. What must happen? We must wake up daily, every day, seeking solutions to these problems. Whether it's the goons that we are dealing with now, We dealt with all these issues, but even back in the day. Yeah? And at one point we thought we had won that war. The vigilante groups, the Kamjeshes of this world. We dealt with them. But Eric, guess what? Every time new problems, new issues, new challenges crop up, what are we saying? That every time you wake up, you put your leg on top of, in front of the other. You must have the intention of making the environment better and safe. Will our CS Murkomen, as much as he's trying, will he be able to outgrow these problems? I do not think so. That is why him and his team, on a daily basis, they must wake up to new challenges and figure out how they're going to fix these challenges. Same way we are seeing as a nation, we have to wake up to the realization that we have challenges growing and breeding on a daily basis. Whether it's this issue we are reading of kids burning schools, this is our challenges. The time that we have accepted, we have to deal with it. Whether it's this issue of road carnage that we are seeing. Just the other day, I think over the weekend, you saw a few young guys who went, I think it was a BMW over the bridge. These are things we have to continue about. When we impose fines, what wanateta? We let them reign free, this is what we get. Like somebody said, my dear friend, if we don't follow the law, guess what? People die.
Well, what are we to wrap up? I mean, it's those words that will also throw back to you, that we each have a responsibility, and the government of the day has a responsibility to all the lives that we keep reporting every single day. A life has been lost. That is one too many. I'll see you.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Let's end the conversation there. We are, of course, with Deputy Government Spokesperson Gabriel Muthama, and we've been discussing what's been happening in Kalou, goodies or bribery. Well, as we get closer to Thursday, maybe the picture will become clearer. But we end it here. Your World is coming up next on NTV, and on Nation FM, it's Claudia Naisabwa and Brian Aseli. Thank you so much for spending the morning with us. We'll leave you in their capable hands. From myself, Mariam Bishar, Eric Latif, and Falaris Wamboi, have an amazing Monday. Tupatane kesho, 6 a.m. on the dot.